Don't link, it's your boy Ink. Welcome to our show. As you doing, having a wonderful day on this 24th April 2025. Today we're going to talk about a subject, a tough subject. We're talking about not easy being wheezy situation. So I don't often do drama, and I don't like doing drama. But Wheezy is a person that I follow. I've been following her for a couple of years already. So Wheezy is part of the very weird group that I'm following. A really weird group in the sense of TikTok appeared. And TikTok in my mind was Charlie D'Amelio, it was Allison Ray, it was teenagers that were looking way better than me, and were dancing. So I was like, okay, well, there's nothing relatable in that. Fuck those people, right? But then there was a couple of people like Call Me Chris, the girl, I forgot her name. It's a shame, she's so funny. You know the girl that she's sleepwalking, is Selena Boo, I think. There's Selena Boo, there's Call Me Chris, there's the Audrey family. I love the Audrey family. There's Rostin, there's Liana and Connor. I love those people. And there's a bunch of people I'm following from TikTok. Now, ultimately speaking, it's actually weird because right now we're on TikTok, and because we're on TikTok, we're more aware of the content created on TikTok. So now we're following people like Joker, that I think is phenomenal. A lot of people that I'm following that I'm really liking on TikTok. And although as a general place of content, I do prefer YouTube. There's some content creator that I love on TikTok that I don't. Okay, weird. I think Easy Being Wheezy is a person that perfectly embodies that. There's some people I prefer YouTube, but those people I do prefer on TikTok. Now, their content is almost tailored for TikTok. So, for example, I'm going to take an example with Call Me Chris. Call Me Chris, right? Call Me Chris, she does a skit, family skit, and she's super good, right? And she created this universe. Seeing the boop, I would take a couple minutes of sleepwalking. I wouldn't take an hour. Easy Being Wheezy. I think we're all aware of this clip, and it's wake up, and then it's higher and higher and higher and higher and higher, right? Now, when I take an hour of that, no. Take a couple minutes of that, absolutely, over and over and over again, right? So this is how I met. Well, we didn't meet, but this is how I know about Not Easy Being Wheezy. And Not Easy Being Wheezy is, it's I'm in a really weird position as a fan. But yeah, I said it, I'm a fan. Because I don't think, and I'm not trying to be a dick, right? I don't think there's nothing special about her, right? So what I like about her content is she'll listen to the same music that I do. One of my favorite video ever is her lip syncing to Sleep Token, and it's Take Me to Eden. My, those eyes, like a fire pit. Something like that. I'm not a great singer, my apologies, right? But it's just feel good content. Or otherwise she'll do some videos about she'll lip sync falling in reverse, right? Now there's a band that I like, right? So I'm seeing this girl, I'm a dude, I'm straight, and I'm seeing this girl singing the same music that I like, and I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool, right? So that being said, this is where I'm a fan, right? But do I really follow her? No. Am I really involved in the Wheezy world? No. Am I really involved in the Wheezy lore? No. She's one of those content creators that you like watching, like, hey, I like that girl, but you're not really keeping up with, right? Now, this video is gonna be very weird because something happened to her that's horrible, and now I'm gonna play a bit of devil advocate. I'm gonna be trying to be my perception is I think they're both wrong. Now, ultimately, I think that he's worse because of what he did. But there's a lot of people that I'm seeing on social media in the comments. It's horrible. So from what I understand, she had this boyfriend, right? First love. She lost her virginity to him, etc. And then he leaked nudes of her when she was minor, right? Now, ultimately speaking, it's amazing because this is not in itself, and again, I'm trying to be respectful, but in itself, this is not a video that is super entertaining. This is not a video that's super interesting, right? Not super interesting at all. But then, very weirdly speaking, I watched a video from Kayla Malik, and Kayla Malik is also somebody I like on, but her Kayla Malik is even worse because you know I was talking about how Wheezy was part of a group of people I follow on TikTok. I follow 3 people on Snapchat. 3 people, and one of them is Kayla Malik, right? That's crazy. So with Kayla Malik, she did a video, He Doesn't Love You. I showed about this video of being abused, right? And right now, what we're doing is, this is completely apropos. This is completely avant-garde also. This is what a nightmare or dreams are made of. Hear me out. In both cases, they're women, right? In both cases, we're trying to see content creation as a job. And I know what you're saying, Inc. We've been seeing content creation as a job for decades. You're behind, you're a dummy. Whoa wanted a dummy word. But I think it's even more true now because we're seeing people like Matt back. We're seeing people retire from it. Now that's different. That's different because, for example, right? You had those Bitcoin dudes had none of them had more of a 10-year career, right? And they made billions, right? Is it really a career or just they just got lucky? No, there's some strategy in it. There's some insider information. It's being clever. It's following. It's a lot of work, but it's not a job, right? Nobody's gonna go to their high school reunion and say, "What do you do for a job?" "Oh, I'm a Bitcoin miner or Bitcoin merchant," right? Nobody's gonna say that. However, content creation with people retiring from it is completely different. Completely different. Now, this has another layer to it, right? So we're seeing abusive relationship. Now, abusive relationship, sorry to break the news, but it's nothing new. It's nothing new. It's been, since the dawn of time, there's been asshole, either it be woman or man asshole, right? An asshole is an asshole. But there's been asshole, right? So with somebody like Easy being Wheezy, we're seeing something that is kind of not new. Okay, so she got I feel like an asshole. Kayla Malik, she had an abusive boyfriend, right? The first one, not the last one, sadly. But she had millions of followers that saw it, right? There's somebody like Easy being Wheezy. She had her news leak, right? Even as a minor, that happens. And it's disgusting that it happens, but it happens, right? But both of these people, right? And I'm not putting them in the same basket, but I'm just saying, timely speaking, they both happen at around the same time, right? And they're both similar situation where they're victim, right? Because I don't agree that I don't agree that she's the only victim, because we'll get into it later on, right? It's complex. It's really complex. We're diving in, and I saw the comments, and one of the comments that really broke my brain, which wasn't hard to break, thank you very much, was this going to be a study in later years. And at first, it's a comment like, "Oh, shut the fuck up! You're such a dork. You're so cringe." But then you think about it, and it's right. It is right. So people saw it, right? People saw it, and we're gonna be talking because this is a case where everybody saw it. It's like, for example, and I hate to use this example, but it's like the Mendes brother, right? Oh, the Mendes brothers are actually really special because the Mendes brother are their murderer that killed their parents. But the parents were abusing them, and a lot of people are saying they were right to kill the parents. Now, is it a right thing? No, I never should think that you go there, but it went there, right? So we're seeing this, and for the first time, we're at a case to study. Easy being Wheezy is going to be one of the first one to study. Now, ultimately speaking, the T is, once again, she sent nudes to a dude, right? Those nudes are not new. She sent nudes, right? She sent nudes, and then this guy leaked them, right? So now the problem is she has news of her as a minor, right? And this is criminal because this is child pornography, right? Now, this guy is an asshole. Now, in the comment section, a lot of people are saying, yeah, but she sent them. And I'm going to be an asshole, but I'm going to agree with the fact that she sent them, right? Now, my perception of she sent them is completely different from the perception of other people. My perception is, yes, she sent them. And ultimately speaking, a ton of guys, I'll be completely honest over here. Call me an asshole. This is mea culpa. This is, and to God, judge me. I've had ex multiple times that sent me nudes, and I kept the news after we broke up. I kept the news after we broke up. Now I'm not an asshole. I'll wait. I'm not an asshole, but I'm acting like an asshole. I'll wait until I find a new girlfriend, or I'm falling for somebody else. Until I develop a feeling for somebody else, I'll keep the news and I'll use them to, you know. But then when I find a new girlfriend, I do think that it's kind of cheating. So my view on that, on looking at porn, is, so it's another subject. I'm sorry, but very quick talk about it. My views on porn, watching porn when you're in a relationship, it's not cheating. Because you're just watching porn. If there's no emotional attachment. For me, if I had a girlfriend and she was watching porn, I wouldn't care. If she was texting a dude, I would care. Because this is emotional attachment. Physical attachment, I don't give a fuck. You think she's hot, you're bisexual, there's a girl you're into, you think she's sexy, you're masturbating to her, no problem, right? There's no problem. However, if you know the person, that's cheating, right? So yes, I do believe that if I was using pictures of my ex to, it would be cheating. Now, this guy kept the nudes, right? And he kept the nudes for a while because I think she's 22 or 23. And she was, at the time she was 16. So that's 7-8 years. That's a long time, right? So, the fact that you released them, it's not an asshole. He's still an asshole. Yes, she did send them, right? But it's not the same thing as she sent them. I think it's a picture perfect of I got famous. So, for example, right? People gonna have dirt on you, and everybody has it. Everybody has a little bit of dirt out there, right? I'm not saying porn picture. I'm not saying nude picture. I'm saying everybody has someone that knows something about them, and like, oh, I should have done that. I should have not done that, right? And ultimately speaking, it's bad, dude. It's really, really bad. It's really bad because when you get famous, like for example, right, is the classic case of Mary stole something. So I'm gonna be using the worst example in the world, but I think it's funny because I think it's funny. I'm gonna use it. And Mary stole something. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a shit. Who is Mary, right? But then you say Mary stole something, and out of the 100% you told, there's one person that says Mary who? Surprise motherfucker, Mary Poppins stole something. Holy shit, I know Mary Poppins. So because the name is known, the scandal or the actual story or the actual like situation, situation is a good word. I'm watching Jersey Shore. So whenever I think about situation, I talk about Mike Sorrentino, which is don't fucking brain rot, right? Yes, because Wheezy being Wheezy is so popular, is so famous, those story blew up of proportion, right? Now, technically speaking, and this is the really, really, really weird thing. Sharing child pornography, sharing your ex nudes, horrible, right? But most of the time, it's a Jane Doe. It's somebody that we don't know, right? So people do not give a fuck. Now, because she's a celebrity, now this was blown out of proportion in two ways. So the first thing that blew up, right, was because she's popular. People want to see the nudes. I was watching TikTok, French Canadian TikTok, because I'm French Canadian, and there was a relationship. It was really disgusting. So this girl is overweight, right? And she had this boyfriend who was an asshole. I'm not gonna say the name because I don't want to give them publicity. But he's an asshole. He's a total douche. And he comes in and he says, and she started to talk shit about him. And I tell her, stop. I'm gonna do something. And then he leaked her news. Now this story, in my opinion, is a lot better. And again, I'm sorry, Wheezy. I'm not saying that your situation is not horrible and should be talked about. But the situation is, in my opinion, a better example because I saw it happen live. So she continued, and then he released some nudes because she's had to call her a whale, which is totally not cool. Totally not cool. But what was worse was the people in the chat saying, "Hey, show us." And then there's somebody that wanted to get a popularity, and he showed it on his live, and he's banned. He showed on live the picture. He's banned. The person who released the revenge porn, because it is revenge porn. And again, we're gonna talk about revenge porn because that's also something that has to do with everything. So he released that, and he's like, "Holy shit, that's bad, dude. That is bad, dude. That is fucked up, right?" And it is fucked up. but the guy didn't get banned. The guy who released the picture didn't get banned. The guy who showed the picture got banned. There's a bit of problem with that, right? So with Easy being breezy, this is the same situation. People in the chat were asking, let us see the nude. So because Easy being breezy is famous, then people have an interest in seeing her naked. It's a perverse mind of it's like in the old days. I'm 22 years old. I'm an old fuck. But it's like when you saw Celebrity Sex Tape. Celebrity Sex Tape. How much money did Paris Hilton make? Sex tape. How much money did Kim Kardashian make with a sex tape? If it was Kourtney Kardashian, nobody would give a fuck. But people knew Kim. People knew Kim. They say, okay, we want to see Kim. You know. Wait, so she's a victim of her own success, right? Now this is for Wheezy, for the asshole, because he is an asshole. When you have something that is private and you're getting more and more famous, you have to be mindful of what can be your downfall. So, for example, I'm in a position, I know that this person has nudes, and I'm getting more and more famous. There's a time where I'm saying, hey, I know that you got those nudes. I'm gonna buy them back from you. I'll pay you X amount of money because this is gonna be something that's gonna be bad, right? It's horrible. It's horrible. It's horrible because, you know, she got famous. And if she was not famous, I don't think he would have released those nudes, right? I don't think he would have released those nudes because nobody would give a shit, right? So it's basically a sixth sense of demand and offer and demand. It's really, really weird, but still. That being said, again, I don't think this is fair. I don't think this is classy. I don't think it's horrible. Ultimately speaking, yes, he did something horrible. Ultimately speaking, she should have. And I know this is where I'm completely partial to Wheezy. She should have known that this guy was an asshole. She should have known that she got famous and people would want to see the nudes, right? Technically speaking. So, for example, right, we had this other case with Donald Trump. Donald Trump, he fucked a porn star, and she kept a secret for years, for decades, right? And then he became president, right? And people wanted to buy the tape, right? And he had to give her millions to shut her up. Now, this person, which again is very similar to the story that we're talking about right now, waited for the person to be at the peak of their career, the most popular they could be, to release the nudes, to release the revenge porn, right? So this is something that you're seeing. People are saying like, oh, yo, we should be taking notes on the situation. We should be taking advantage of the situation to learn lesson. This is a learning experience. This is a learning opportunity, right? With Wheezy. And it is true. This is going to be something that's going to be the flag bearer. Now, do I think this is something that you should do? No. But I think that in the most horrid way possible, if her going through that, right, save a bunch of people from going through the same situation because they said, oh, yo, you know, it's a shame because it will take a martyr. And I think she's a martyr. If it takes her to have her nudes leaked, for a young woman out there to not send nudes, you know, and even then, yes, she was in a relationship with the guy for 6 years, so she trusted him, right? But I'm on Reddit, I'm on Snapchats, right? And I'm getting complete strangers sending me nudes because they're horny. Now, ultimately speaking, I'm not an asshole, I'm not saving them, but you don't know me. I could be an asshole. I could be a real asshole. You're taking a risk, and because you're taking risk and you're playing with fire, oh, well, I got burned. No shit, you got burned. Right? Now, the part where I'm gonna hesitate for Easy being Wheezy isn't the action itself, but is the context behind the action. This is revenge porn. So the word revenge, which is vendetta, the word revenge has a negative connotation to it. And if your intention or your intent behind something were bad, right? They were bad. They were horrible, right? You did revenge porn. And it doesn't matter if it's a victim. Well, it doesn't matter if you felt like a victim. So this guy possibly got egged on. This guy. And it does sound like I'm saying that they're both have their flaw. They both have their flaw. Of course, Wheezy is a victim here. And I think this is where we have to draw the line. This is revenge porn. Wheezy, a victim. The guy isn't a victim. The guy's not a victim. Right? So she's a victim. She got revenge porn on her, and this is where this is the context or the subcontext behind the action. The action itself You gave news to a dude that she should not have gave news to. Well, tough shit, right? But it's revenge porn, right? And again, it's malicious intent. You're trying to hurt her. First of all, we're gonna tell her she was a pick a career. Why didn't you release the news years ago? Because she's not newly popular. She was popular for a while, you know, and it's horrible. You know, it's horrible. So yeah, so I want to talk about this because I do think it's gonna be something that we're gonna be learning from. See, there's so many scandals. For example, the whole Bitcoin stuff with Logan Paul scamming, allegedly speaking, billions of people, right? People still believe that guy. Still, they see this new prime flavor. Holy shit, let's support a guy that scammed everybody, right? Or the Actu girl who did a meme coin of popularity. We're seeing all of those people do horrible stuff. And I'm saying too, there's so much more, but I don't want to do this video. If I say everything that's people that did this year, we're in April, by the way. We're 5 months in. We're 4 months since January, February, March, April. I would need an hour to talk about people what they did this year. We're not gonna do that, right? But there's a point where we have to stop saying they're asshole. There's a point where we have to start saying, how come we are not learning? And I think this is the problem. Somebody that hurt you once, asshole. Now, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. With easy being wheezy. And again, it's a why am I saying that it's a bit dumb? Is because she knew that this was a time bomb. She knew that no matter what, this guy wasn't going to release them some sort of way. If it was me, I would have gotten what you call it, restraining order against him, socially speaking. So if he released talking some news about her, if he talks about her name, he'll go to jail, right? But she didn't do it, right? And I think that if you know that there's a time bomb going, and you're not doing anything to stop it, oh, there's this time bomb that'll explode in 1 year. I had 1 year to prepare to how to do it. I didn't even lift a finger to stop it, right? Now, this is a bit of a your fault situation. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it goes well for her. She has my thoughts and prayer. But yeah, this is. I feel like what I'm trying to say is this could have been avoided more so than, hey, this is a situation where we're fucked, you know. Anyway, I'm gonna video. Love you guys. Take it easy. Peace.